Hello everyone and welcome to our new first impressions video on Final Fantasy 15. My name is Paco Treviño and today I'm joined by Lauro Chapa.
Hey guys.
And we'll be talking about the demo of Final Fantasy 15, which is supposed to work as a sort of a prequel to the actual game that will be coming out in September 30th. And well, let's get down to it. Lauro, would you like to start with some of your first impressions?
Yeah. First impressions. The first thing that you see of any game is the graphics and the presentation of the game. I think it looks really crisp. Most of PlayStation 4 games or Xbox One, the current generation, look very good, but this one looks awesome. I mean, Final Fantasy, Square Enix, we know they make great graphics, and this game is no different. The characters, the models look realistic. The worlds look vast and colorful. So yeah, I think they start off good with that.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's definitely a standout in terms of graphics and the art style. It's very photorealistic. It's not something that I usually like a lot in video games, but this one executes it really well, especially for a demo. I really like how it feels very organic, the environments. Like, they feel very realistic in a sense. Like, everything reacts to your movements. Like, I noticed, like, grass, it moves around when you walk past it. And also the hair of the kid, moves very, very natural. That's something that I really like about this game. It's the graphics. And, well, you actually mentioned a little bit about the HUD.
Yeah.
I wasn't very crazy about the HUD. I felt that it was a little bit bare bones. But, it's maybe a demo. I mean, it's maybe because it's a demo. So, I think that it has to do with that, but I didn't mind it. But I did feel that it was especially very small. Like, it was crazy small and simplistic.
The text was actually very, very small.
Yeah, the text was very small, and we were actually playing it in a very large TV.
Yeah.
So maybe people that have like a 30-inch TV will really have problems with that.
I hope, like, if that's the default, that they add an option to make the text bigger, right?
Yeah, actually that's a problem that I also had with Xenoblade Chronicles. Like, my TV is not particularly small, but at times I did feel that, wait, if I wanted to play this on the gamepad or a smaller TV, I would really have a problem.
Yeah, I've sometimes played it on the gamepad and I barely can read what it says there.
Yeah, me too. I barely could read. I actually had to sort of like know what it said.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, this text I've read it before.
Yeah.
That happened to me as well. But yeah, aside from that, visually very impressive, even for PlayStation 4 standards. And like you said, Square Enix has always been a company that really executes well and really knows how to exploit systems ever since the NES even.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's get to the gameplay of the game. I was not all that crazy about it, especially how you changed the weapons and that you had to hit the D-pad, but it was not very fluid. For example, in games like Arkham City, like, you have the D-pad for changing your items, but that one feels very organic. Here, I'm not sure what was it that made it feel very clumsy.
I think it didn't feel natural at all.
Yeah,
like,
I think that has to
it
do with
was like too different from what's standard, because you always have your standard, like you jump with A or X, you punch with B or something like that. And by this game changing it, like, you first have to choose the weapon and then you have to attack. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's not very natural at all. Yeah, because Arkham City. I gave the example of Arkham City, but The Legend of Zelda does it very similarly, and basically every other action adventure game. And this one, I feel like maybe they wanted to retain some sort of RPG elements, like forcing you to enter the menus and whatnot.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna make an action game, the RPG,
I think it loses the flow of the game.
I think that, I didn't think about it until I said it, but it probably has to do with the RPG origins.
Aside from that, I think the pure attacking battle system, I think it's very fluid.
Yeah,
it doesn't feel like a beat 'em up. You have to do some kind of strategies.
Yeah, it felt like the character itself was slow, but you could work with that because the game was built around that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, the actual execution, once you have the sword or the hammer out, yeah, it's definitely much more fluid. I can see that. But something that I don't know how to feel is that Final Fantasy 15 has gone to another route entirely in terms of the gameplay.
Yeah.
And I will say that I liked when RPGs were like turn-based, but I didn't like a lot Final Fantasy 13 or 13-2.
Yeah, nobody does.
Yeah, very few people do. Yeah, I mean, they're definitely not the common opinion, but
yeah.
But I liked how this one is approaching it overall, but it does feel like I'm not playing Final Fantasy anymore.
Right.
I don't know, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I feel they've changed completely, but I didn't mind that. I mean, I know we're not getting turn-based anymore, but I think it's fine. The gameplay is fluid enough. The visuals are good. The music is like really good.
Actually, that's true. The music was very, very nice. I didn't remember that. But yeah, it was very nice, except for one part where I think that they tried to do a little bit of a techno-ish flavor to it. I think it was in a boss fight. I don't remember where, but I did feel that it was kind of off. But yeah, outside of that, visually and the sound department, very, very nice work.
Yeah.
And how do you feel? I think that this demo, where it gives us the most of a taste of what the actual game will be, is actually in the boss fight.
Yes.
And it's actually my favorite part of the demo.
Of course.
It's very action oriented. It reminded me a little bit of Bayonetta. I think that we mentioned it when we were playing it.
Yeah.
I don't know. How did you feel about that boss fight?
I think it's really interesting. This mechanic where you transport yourself and stick to walls and then attack in the air. It's fluid and dynamic. I think it's really fun, and it seems that the game's going to be good because of that.
Yeah, I really liked it, and it actually reminded me of a PlayStation 3 Spider-Man game. What was it? Shattered Dimensions, where you sort of have this world that you can make sort of in slow motion, and you could see like you would jump and spin your web to like a tower, not a tower, a post or something, and you would like distance yourself from the enemy and have another perspective on the battlefield. And I think that this game, I don't know if the developers play that, but it felt very similar to that, because they even have like a little spark to where you're going to go to land. And in Spider-Man, what they did was that it was this yellow silhouette of Spider-Man. So to me, it was a little bit of a throwback to that.
Okay.
But I mean, this game is actually very much better made than that game. But it's just that if somebody out there has played that game, you know, it's a little bit like that, only with a better game around it, with a better, at least, boss fight. And, well, something that I also wanted to talk about, and maybe this is a little bit comparing it to previous Final Fantasy games, is how Final Fantasy has also changed from a magical meets Steam world. And now it's very, like, fantasy, like, maybe something from Tolkien, you know, the Lord of the Rings or something like that. And I feel that Final Fantasy has changed a lot in that way. How did you feel about that? Maybe, like, very different structure from the game.
I mean, I think that goes alongside with them changing from tactical RPG to action-adventure RPGs. They want to be their new selves. And I mean, it's fine. I think the story was solid. The environments look good, so yeah. Yeah,
I actually like the story now that you bring it up. It was very different from a Final Fantasy game, maybe, but it was definitely not an interesting idea to see the dream world of a kid, you know?
Yeah.
And I know that the actual game will not have a lot to do with that, because, like, they say it, that, no, the actual game will have this kid be a grown-up and he will have friends and whatnot, but I don't know, I actually like the demo. And this actually goes along with the lines of what Square Enix did for Bravely Second on the 3DS, that they did a demo that is actually a prequel. It's not just a mission of the game, but
Square Enix likes their demos.
Yeah, they like their demos. I mean, and why shouldn't they? Their development cycles can be up to 10 years.
Yeah.
I mean, so maybe they need them
Of course.
to grab people. But yeah. Well, do you have any closing thoughts on the demo?
Overall, I think it's very good. You know, it has its issues like frame rate drops here and there, but what demo doesn't have it really? The game looks good. I mean, it made me interested in the game, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. I definitely will. This demo definitely picked my attention again towards Final Fantasy, because to me 13 was like, what the hell are you doing, guys? But now checking this new demo of what is it, like 3 games later? I know it's 15, but it's like 13, 13
Yeah,
part
13
2,
to 14 and
yeah, whatever.
couple games later.
The point is that some time has passed, and maybe this demo will pique the interest of a lot of people, because the first trailer that we saw, I was afraid that it was going to be a little bit like 13, but it has nothing to do with it.
No.
Like, it's another thing entirely.
Completely different.
Yeah, and I really like that. So.
And it shows that they listen to their fans, right? They got feedback and change it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they definitely saw like, no, this is not the route to go. Maybe let's go somewhere else. But yeah, I think that that's it for this first impressions on Final Fantasy 15 demo. So, well, thank you guys for listening to us. This is me, Paco Treviño from the TVGamers, and today I was joined by Lauro, Chapa.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Until next time, bye bye, guys.